Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday. How are you today, my friends? I hope you had a fabulous weekend. Let me just clear some things here to see if I'm in the right spot and set up. I think I am. Okay, and you can see my project all right. Let me just see if I can see us on my computer here. Trying to be a little techno savvy. We'll see how this goes. How are you today, my friends? I hope you're doing well. Let me just see if it shows me live in the right place. Refresh here. Think I'm live. I see some folks are coming in. When you come in, say hello. Give me a thumbs up. Give me some love. Feel free to share my page and share this video because sharing is caring, and the more the merrier. So let me just see here. Am I live on the Stampin' Chicks page? I'm not sure. There we go. All right. I am live. Okay. And a little wonky. So let me see if I can fix that. Here we go. All right. I think that's probably good. Okay. Yes. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay, very good. Well, welcome everyone. It's time for Make It Monday again with the Stampin' Chick, Dana Sullivan. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the United States, and I have a super fun card to share with you today. And as it is the last Monday of the month, that means it's time for the Stampin' Showcase blog hop. So, if you will head over to my blog at thestampinchick.com, you will be able to see today's post with this beautiful project and be able to hop along for the Stampers Showcase blog hop. Now, I absolutely love the Stamper Showcase because it's absolutely fantastic group of designers that are just incredible and do amazing projects. So anytime it's the Stamper Showcase blog hop, which is always the last Monday of the month, you know you're going to get a whole slew of absolutely amazing projects to see and inspire you with. So with that in mind, this month's theme is all about casing the catalog. So casing means to copy and share everything, or copy and selectively edit, however you want to look at it. But in my case, it's going to be copy and share. This project is absolutely gorgeous. It's in the spring mini catalog, and I believe on page 26 right here. And this card actually drew my attention to the Boughs and Blossoms stamp set and punch combo, and I thought that card was just absolutely gorgeous, and it's got a lot of detail to it. So I'm gonna do that one with you tonight. I'm gonna show you how it's done. And as you can see here, I mean, it's just got so much texture, and it's, I mean, just absolutely stunning. Okay, I mean, there's super cute flowers, leaves, little floral clusters here, and then we've got some embossing in the background too. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. Okay, so what do you need? Well, first of all, we're going to be using the Boughs and Blossoms stamp set. Whoop, throw it at you. Stamp set and punch. So we'll have those on hand. we're going to be using water painters. These are so much fun. It comes in a 3-pack, and each of the tips are different. One of them is a wider brush tip, so it's this one here, which we're going to use. Another one is like a nicer brush tip. And then the last one I haven't got out here yet. We're not going to use it this evening, but it's more of a fine tip. So you can see it's a brush also, but it's just a little bit more of a fine tip. All right, so you get a pack of 3, and they're really inexpensive, and they're absolutely amazing. So you're going to want your water painters handy, and I just have water inside of them. I don't have alcohol or anything like that. And then for your card base, let me set that aside. We're going to be using Pool Party cardstock, measuring 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 inches. And let me just make sure that's got a nice burnish. And then we're also going to have another layer of basic white Pool Party cardstock that measures 3 1/8 by 5. And this one is embossed with the splatters and stripes embossing folders. As you can see, it's just the stripes, not the splatters, but those are a 2-pack that come together from the Spring Mini Catalog, and they fit through the mini machine. So these are the ones that are really small, and I just cut this to make sure that it was just wide enough for the stripes embossing folder. So I have that. And then I've got a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside panel of the card. Let me just set that in there. And then I've already done some work, but we're going to go over some of this. So this is a little frame that we're going to use for the wreath itself. And it's funny because when I was looking at the card in the catalog, I completely missed that you could see. So when you're building this card, it's really just like building a regular little wireframe wreath. So it's really neat the way that works. So this is die cut with the largest and second largest of the layering circles dies. And you don't need to write all this down, because if you head over to my blog today, I have all the measurements, I have all the supplies and materials and everything, so you can find it over there. But I've cut this out with the largest and then the second largest to give me the frame. And then of course I've saved the inside piece because I'm sure I'm going to use it for something later, right? So I have that. And I used shimmery white cardstock to stamp and fussy cut some flowers. I used regular basic white cardstock to die cut the thanks die, and this is from that, I didn't drop anything, Amazing Thanks Dies set. It has a double layer of thanks, a double layer of amazing, a double of U and R, and of course you can do some really cool combinations with that, but we're going to be doing the thanks one, so I have that. And then in the shimmery white, I have cut this piece, which I'm going to tell you about a little more here in just a minute. And then we've watercolored some leaves and flower clusters. And I'm going to show you how I did the flower clusters with this one here. And I'm going to tell you about the others as well. And then you're going to need just a scrap of basic white cardstock that you'll use for the sentiment piece right here. So that little sentiment there. And then I'm also using the polished dots. I'm using Calypso Coral ink for the flowers. I'm using Petal pale papaya and garden green for the flower clusters. And then I'm using Pear Pizzazz and So Saffron for the leaves, okay? So I have those there, and actually I'm using Calypso Coral for this one right here because I have packed away my pale papaya, apparently, for my class tomorrow. So anyway, that's okay. Calypso Coral will work, and we'll just water it down a little bit more. So there you go. We may even touch these up just a little bit so that they match better. Okay. We are not going to worry about that. Let me set this stuff aside and tell you a little bit more about these things. Okay, so we don't need those right now. All right. This thanks is really neat because I used the shimmery white cardstock, so I don't know if you're going to be able to pick up all the sparkle and shine from the shimmer paper, but what I have done is I've taken my water painter and the So Saffron ink, and I've just brushed the So Saffron all over the shimmery cardstock, and then I let it dry for a bit. And then I used the So Saffron ink and this little, not that one, I'm sorry, this little vine right here, and I stamped it all over this section of cardstock here, okay? So I have all of this nice texture and background done, and then I came back and die cut it with the thanks die. And so let me see if it's possible. Whoop, hold on, I didn't mean to do that. Let me back off a bit. Well, I thought I could get in close and focus, but anyway, okay, it looks like that's as close as I'm gonna get. Hey there, everybody. I see folks are commenting and saying hello. Carol, Luann, Kim, hi there, how are ya? All of a sudden, I got a whole bunch of comments posted, so that's awesome. All right, and so anyway, you can see a whole lot of really cool stuff going on in the thanks. And, you know, it's amazing how these little things add up and make the project just absolutely amazing. Okay, so when you see this in all together with the card, it's so cool. All right, so anyway, that's how I've done the thanks. And then, let me set that over there. And then for the leaves, they have all of this cool color going on because they were watercolored with the Pear Pizzazz and the So Saffron together. So I am going to show you how I did that, even though I've already cut them, because I don't want you to have to wait around for it to dry and all of that crazy stuff. So here's what I did. I have my silicone mat, and I've got my shimmer paper. Now you can see here, this is the part that I've already done, and I've already punched some out, but I'm going to color this side with you so you can see what I've done. And I'm just taking my wide brush water painter, and I'm going to squeeze the base and the lid together so that I get some color right up here in the lid, okay? And then I'm actually going to start with the yellow because if I start with the yellow, I don't have to clean my brush before I go on to green, because yellow and blue make green, so it's kind of a lighter shade on the spectrum of the same color family that I'm going to. So if you start with, say, a blue and then go into purple, then you won't have to clean your brush because blue makes purple. Red and blue make purple. So anyway, that's just something to keep in mind. And so I'm going to start out by just giving my brush a little bit of a squeeze, not too much. I don't want to drown this. I just want to put a drop in. And you could see that it kind of turned into like a liquid right here. And then I'm just coming in and coloring all over with the yellow, okay, because this is such a light color, and I want ultimately my whole piece of shimmery cardstock to be colored, so I'm gonna give it a lot of color here. Alright, and so that's on, and I don't have to wait between colors. I can just go ahead and work straight into the green. And again, I don't have to clean my brush because I went from a yellow to a green, so the colors go together naturally. I'm going to give it just some water, just a little bit here, and you can see there it goes into a liquid palette. And now I'm going to kind of tap around here, and I don't want to cover up all of my yellow. I want to leave a little, and I want to add different strengths of green as well. Okay, so there we go. All right. Okay, and then I'm going to let that sit to dry. And when you clean your brush, it's very simple. You just squeeze a tiny bit of water through the brush onto a napkin or a paper towel, and then brush it out, okay? And then do it one more time just to make sure you've got all the color, and you'll know when you're brushing it and it's clear that you've got it clean, okay? And that's all you need to do. And then I'll just put the cap back on to keep it from getting in the way and messed up. Okie dokie. So that is how I did that part. Okay, now I have one of my little flower stems here, and I'm going to take the garden green and the Calypso coral, and this time I'm going to use this big brush tip, okay? So let me just give that Calypso coral a little squeeze, and I actually want this to be watered down quite a bit because my color was supposed to be pale papaya, right? So I want it to be watered down quite a lot so that it's not too bold, and this way I can just come in like so, and then if I need to add a little more color, I can. You can always add more, but you can't take it away, all right? So starting out lighter and then adding it a little darker if you like is always the best way to go. Now we'll just put a little bit over the top of our petal pink right here, or oh my gosh, the pale papaya. All right, okay, and then I'm gonna close that up. Let me just give it a quick little clean because I'm transferring from a pinkish peach color to the green. I want to make sure that I'm not cross-contaminating my colors. And then we'll add some green. Oh, Luann, you were sick. I'm so sorry. I hope you're feeling better. Okay, and then here we go with the green. Alright, and I'm just gonna kind of brush that on, being careful not to brush it up over the top of my flowers. Okay, so there we go. Just like that. Alright. Now this green is a really rich one, so you'll be able to see, you'll see that there's all this color in the brush, right? But then as soon as I squeeze some water through it, all that color kind of fades down into the paper, and then I'm going to give it another quick squeeze. There we go, and one more just to be safe, and now we've got a clear brush. Alright, there we go. Okay, so now that we've got that done, I'm going to set these aside and let them dry. And thankfully, through the magic of television and all that good stuff, I've got all of these things already pre-colored and ready to go. So we can move right on with the next portion of this project. Okay, So now the next thing I want to do is set this paper aside. I want to go ahead and attach this piece to my card base, and I'm just going to attach it directly down. So here we go. And I'm lining it up right in the middle. Just like that. Okay, and let me get my white piece out so I don't mess it up or forget it. Okay, now then I'm going to bring that silicone mat back in, and I'm using that wire frame, you'll see my little paper frame here. And you're going to be able to see now how we go about all of this, all right? So you're going to need your multi-purpose liquid glue. And let me get that cleared. Okay, the first piece I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick a little bit of glue along the stem, and I'm going to put it down right about the middle. Okay, and I'm just going along the edge of my frame here. Now I don't care one little bit that a little of this frame is showing, because when I lay it up against my card, the frame kind of magically disappears, so it's perfectly fine. Now that I've got that on, I'm going to take my snips and I'm just going to snip that little stem off so that it doesn't stick out from under my flower. All right, and now I'm going to put a couple of the little flower clusters here. So let me put this one down. And I'm doing this same thing for all of the pieces to hold them on. So if you are the kind of person who uses a lot of glue or who makes a mess, you may want to use the sponge method and sponge the back of these pieces rather than put the glue on directly, so that you don't make a huge mess of glue. Okay, so that would not be good. All right, now that I have this part on, I'm going to go ahead and take my bone folder and my 3 flowers, and I'm going to start looking at my placement for those. Okay, so I'm going to give them just a little curl just to give them some more interest rather than being flat. So you can see even that tiny little bit just makes it look a little more interesting, a little more real and lively, and it really adds to the texture of the card too. So we'll just give it a little curling and see, look at that. It's awesome, isn't it? Okay, and we'll do that to all 3 of the flowers. Now the other flower we're going to be using, once we get a little farther around, we're actually just going to use these 2 first right here, and then we'll do a little bit of the leaves, and when we get around to this end, then we'll put the flower on. But I'll go ahead and curl them all at the same time. Oh, Luann's excited for on stage. Yes, yes. Well, on tour for the springtime, and then on stage in the fall. I know, me too. I cannot wait. Okay, here we go. So we've got our first couple of stems here, and I'm just going to roughly guesstimate about where I need to place this first flower, because the farthest one away is the one that has to go down first. So I think that's about right. And so I can go ahead and right here just add a little line of glue directly to my little wreath frame. Okay, and so I'll put that down, and then I'm going to add a little liquid glue directly to the wreath frame on this side. I kind of want that to come up a little more. There we go. I want it to be flat. I don't want a flat flower. Alright, there we are. Okay. Now then, as you can imagine, we're just going to be sticking stems underneath the last one until we get around to about here. Alright. Now, the stems are a bit long and we don't need them, so we're just going to cut them down Not all the way, but just about to where the end of the last leaf stem comes out. Okay, and I'm just going to put some liquid glue right along the middle stem. I'll lift up those little leaves right there. And I'm going to bring this around just like so. Alright, and then as I go, I'm going to just keep doing the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to grab this, I'm going to cut the stem off. Line up my liquid glue with the middle stem there. Grab the end and tuck it under. My goal is not to hide the frame itself, but to hide the tails of the stems. Like, I don't want the bottom of my stems to show at all. So if I can hide those, then I am doing a good thing. Okay, now then, I need to put my other flower on. It's going to go right about here. Let me get that next leaf on here first, though, and that way it's tucked away. Alright. One more leaf here. Alright, here we go. And we'll tuck that in just like we've done the others. Okay. Just like we've done the others. Alright. Now that we've got that part, I'm going to save one of my flower clusters to stick under this end. So I've got the other two here. Let me just put one here. And then check my flower. And I'm going to put the other right over here. Okay, just like that. Alright, now put some liquid glue right here across the stems. And then put the flower down. There we go. And you see how we're making that beautiful wreath. I love it. Okay, now, oh, let me cut the stem off. Don't forget to cut your stems. It may be a good idea to just cut them all up front. That way you don't forget. It makes them a little harder to hide when they're long like that. So go ahead and cut them short. That makes them easier to hide. And then we'll pull this one up. I want to come right down in there. There we go. And then this one, I'm actually going to cut clear up here, and I'm cutting it so that I can tuck it up underneath, and I may even cut just one more. Now you can save those and tuck them in somewhere if you want to, but I just want it to fit nicely right there, okay? Let me grab this one, and this time I'm going to put a little on the leaf too, because I'm not going to be tucking anything underneath this one. And I'm going to lift up the edge of my flower and tuck that leaf into the edge of that stem. And there we go. Okay. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm putting a little bit of glue on the stem just like I did the others. And I'm going to tuck it right up under the edge, and I may need to trim just a bit of that stem off. That's okay too. Let me get that one out of the way because it's got glue on it. And then there we go. Okay. Alright, so there's our flower, our wreath. Let me get this stuff out of the way so it doesn't magically find itself on my project somewhere. Okay. Hi, Miss Sharon. How are you, darling? All right, so now I have the wreath made, and I'm going to go ahead and put the thanks together. So for this one, you can either trust your shaky hands with the liquid glue, or you can get the sponge, whichever way you want to do it. I'm going to try my luck here because I'm doing okay so far, but we'll see. Okay, just a little bit. And honestly, I don't care necessarily about getting it all over. I'm just trying to tack it in all the main spots. So we'll just come along here. There we go. I guess I am getting it all over, but that's okay. If you can get it on all the spots, it'll just hold down better. Not a bad thing. Okay, now I will tell you that every time I have made one of these, this skinny part is a little bit distorted. And it's partially because of when I pull it away from the negative. So when you attach this, you want to go nice and easy, take your time, and line it up good, okay? So I'm going to start out, I'm holding it here where I've got a good grip, and this part of it is up off of the edge. And I'm pointing this side down a little so that way I can line it up right where I want it in the middle. And as I go, I'm doing each letter, and you can see I'm kind of pushing the letters over because they've stretched out this way. And so I don't know if I can make that clearer for you to see, but I'm pushing them in, kind of compacting them a bit, and just making sure that everything lines up right in the middle of the background piece. You could see there it's kind of pushing it in a little bit, and then I'm bringing the top out just a little. And so if you just take it nice and easy, there we go. That's the wonderful part of that multi-purpose liquid glue, is that it gives you a minute or so, especially when you don't have it tacked down yet. It gives you a minute to be able to play with it a little. So now you can see that it's all lined up beautiful. And so I can go ahead and put this away for right now. Let me grab this out of the way here. Okay, now then, I need to stamp. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to do just a little bit of stamping. I'm going to stamp the sentiment strip here, and then I'm also going to stamp the inside and the envelope, okay? So for the little sentiment, I have a little hello, and let me put it on the block here. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to use the garden green ink. So let me just bring my scrap over and my garden green ink. Tap, tap, tap. Not smush, smush, smush. And see if I can line this up and still keep it in the middle of the screen. Okay, here we go. All right, now I'm not at all worried about that tiny little piece right there because I'm going to be cutting it off. So I'm not worried about it. I'm going to trim this off, and actually trimming all the way around it, I think, pretty much. So yeah, I'm going to be trimming all the way around it. So I'm just going to set that to the side. And then the next thing I'm going to be doing is stamping this flower. And I want to stamp it on the inside panel and on the envelope. So this is going to be a really simple stamping on the envelope and inside, because I want all of the attention on the front of the card, because it is an absolutely gorgeous card, right? So I want all of the attention there. And so I'm just going to make the inside and the envelope very simple. I'm just putting that big flower on the front of the envelope and on the flap, just like I normally do when I'm decorating my envelopes. And that's done. Let me set it off to the side here. And I can go ahead and attach this inside panel. Let me make sure I don't have any weird anything on the table. You know, glue, color, whatever. Alright, there we go. And I'll put that on the inside of my card. So here we are, just like that. There we go. Okay, now then, we need to glue our frame to the card, and look at that. Oh my gosh, isn't it gorgeous? I love how the frame just vanishes as soon as you put it on the card. So pretty. Okay, you're going to take your multi-purpose liquid glue, and we're just going to run a bead of glue along that frame all the way around. There we go. Okay, now I want these flowers to be up and this one to be kind of down. So about like that, and then right about the middle of my card. So tack, tack, tack. And I'm trying not to put too much push on my flower petals, obviously, because I want them to stay fluffed up. And I don't want to put too much pressure on any of the leaves either, because I'd like them to stay dimensional as well. So there we go. All right. Now then, we have 2 things left to do, and that is it. We are finished. Now this card has definitely got a lot of little bits and pieces, but as you can see, it's really not that difficult. I would say that it's a little more time consuming to take the time to do all the little leaves and everything, but it is so worth it. It is just a beautiful card. All right. I'm going to trim this baby up, and so I'm going to trim straight across here, and I notice that I'm a little crooked in my stamping, so I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to trim it up at an angle, get rid of that. So now see, I didn't have to worry about that, and I'm going to trim at an angle this way. And then I'm just going to go right across the top of my letters, straight as I can, maybe. See if I can't straighten it up a bit. There we go, not too shabby. All right, get rid of that stuff. Okay, now then, you're going to need dimensionals. For a little, you're just going to need the dimensionals to go across your little piece here. So let me turn this around, and I'm going to put one there and one there, okay? But for this piece, I'm actually going to put 2 layers of dimensionals right here in the middle section, okay? So I'm going to take my full-size dimensional here and my scissors, and I'm going to cut it in half. And if it's not exact, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to put this piece here. I'll put this piece here, and I'm just trying to make sure that you can't see any edges of my dimensionals there. Okay, so that's the only thing I'm doing with that. And let me get this one here. I'm trying to use up all the rest of my little dimensional pieces. So if you don't already do this, which I'm sure you do, make sure that you're cutting all the way around the edges of your dimensionals, because there's some really good dimension in there and you want to be able to use it all. So alright, now I'm just checking to make sure you can't see anything, then give it a good press down, and then I'm going to layer the next halves right on top of the other ones. Alright, just like that. Now remember what I said, or what I have said about dimension, is that you want to try to keep it within 2 layers of dimension. So that way you don't have any issues with the post office. I like to keep them happy so that they don't lose my cards and packages. And not that they ever would do that on purpose or anything of the sort, but I do like to keep my postal workers happy. I really appreciate them, and they do an awful lot for me. So I want to keep them smiling happy. All right, here we go. Now you can see I've got 2 layers of dimension here. I'll go ahead and pull the backing off of these pieces. And we're going to nestle it right into this section here. So wherever it looks like it makes sense to you, that's where I want you to give it a good press. Okay? So I think that'll be all right. And then this little strip is going to fit right down in between the H and the K. All right? So let me take that one. Just like so. There we go. Give it a little bit of a press. And then now you have your card itself. Now the only thing left to do is to take some of those beautiful polished dots, and we're going to put them around the card. Okay. So our handy dandy take your pick tool, the best tool in the toolbox. Let me just start here, and we're going to use the small ones because there's a lot going on this card anyway. We're really just looking for a little bit of an accent, so nothing big and spectacular here. Okay, whoop, hold on now, friend. Where are you going? There you go. All right, and then I'm going to do one here. I'll do one here. And then I'm going to do one right there. All right, there we have it, friends. Okay, a little thanks, a super, super beautiful card. I am in love with this card. And by doing this card, I'm thinking of so many other cool things that I can do with this similar concept. You know, doing a fun little wreath with all sorts of different things here. I mean, you could do it for any kind of a theme. You know, the little cars and packages. I'm doing... getting ready to post a project for tomorrow using these, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And you know, you can make little wreaths of all sorts of things. I mean, you guys know, you've seen them all over Pinterest. There are wreaths everywhere, right? So speaking of the little bugs and cars and everything, today is the last day of celebration. We hate to see it go. But if you want to purchase anything, if you haven't yet received all of the goodies that you want to get for free out of the celebration brochure, now is the time to get that order placed before you go to bed tonight. Make sure you get that order placed and get your celebration rewards chosen. And if you've been on the fence about joining Stampin' Up, getting that incredible discount, or taking advantage of the celebration join promotion, now is totally the time to do that. In addition to the $125 of free product, for only, or not $125 free, but $125 worth of product for only $99, you get to choose 2 stamp sets out of the online catalog absolutely free on top of it. So you get, I mean, that's like another 50 bucks. So you're getting like $175 worth of stuff for only $99, plus you get free shipping. So yay. And you get a discount on top of it for the whole rest of the time you're active. So that's awesome. Excuse me. Anyway, if you'd like to take advantage of it, I will be up and near my computer to be able to help any last-minute Lulus. And you know what? Last minute is okay because you're still doing it. So, anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the card project. Stay tuned for more fun, and I will see you all later. Bye for now.